My name is Dr. Chibueze Ofobuike. I am serving as the chairman of Agota local government area. Agota local government area is one of the 21 local government areas in Anambra State, Nigeria. Before now, I used to teach political science at the Department of Political Science, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University, formerly Anambra State University, Wariam, Anambra State. I am here today to discuss a very important topic to commemorate the 2024 Communication Week, and that is the ethical considerations of artificial intelligence. I would say that this topic is very topical in the sense that it's artificial intelligence is not just here with us, but is a phenomenon that has to do with young people. And I am glad that I will be discussing it from the perspective of a young person, a practicing Catholic, and someone who believes that there should be some ethical considerations concerning how artificial intelligence is involved in our daily living. AI shouldn't take away the humanity in us. There should be an element of humanity in the way we allow AI to get involved in our lives. Because AI provides services for people, for human beings, people who have feelings of different orientation, of different idiosyncrasies, people who have their different ways of doing things, different culture, and so on and so forth. If there is any aspect of AI that do not allow us to relate as human beings, as people who has fundamental human rights, and as people who should respect the laws of the land, and as people who should also respect the boundaries, human boundaries, and that's intricate relationship that should exist between people, then there is every cause for alarm. It is more worrisome to relate this issue within the context of our society in Africa. In Europe, in America, in Asia, it may not be much of an issue because their own distinct ways of living, of doing their businesses, and of relating with one another is quite different from ours here in Africa. Down here, we still find ourselves living in, communal settings. And so there is every reason for us to separate the way we discuss AI in the context of the much more developed societies, or would I say the Western world, and ours. So down here, we must pay attention to how much AI tries to remove the humanity in us. How much does it try to make us to begin to live our lives in a way that, would not really conform with our culture, our tradition, and our general ways of lives as a people. So there is need for us to continue to look at ethical issues concerning artificial intelligence. We've been talking about issues like free speech, hate speech, and so on and so forth. These days, we find, because of much more sophisticated ways of disseminating information, we find it very difficult to control what people say. We find it very difficult to control what people say, how people relate in terms of sharing information. So AI has made it much more advanced. Before now, you see people reporting things traditionally, so you can as well trace where the information is coming from, how authentic it is, and so on and so forth. But today, through the possibilities of AI, information can be shared in a way that it reaches faster to the audience, and not just getting to the audience in a faster way, but even reaching much more wider audience. And these are issues because we must also find a way to ensure that the information that are being shared, that they are correct, that they do not infringe on the rights of people. So these issues must be discussed. And at this point, I would want to call on the government, all the relevant stakeholders, the government, the church, the family, schools, and every person or group that has one role or the other to play in controlling the way and manner we allow artificial intelligence to play some roles, even though those roles are very important. But we must also look at it from the point of distinguishing the usage of AI and living our lives as a people with distinct culture, tradition, and general way of life. If I would share my personal experience, whereby we at the local government where I served, we tried to create platforms that will make people get up to speed with what happens within the international space. We recently conducted a project whereby we took 15 young secondary school students, senior secondary school students to Accra, Ghana for a 1 week very intensive tour, visitation of some places, institutions, industries, and all that. I mean, for the purpose of exposing them to what goes on within another climb, right? So first is to appreciate that there is every need for young people to get involved with what goes on globally. Artificial intelligence has, in a way we never imagined, brought the world together. In a small space in your room, one can easily find out what goes on in the remotest part of the world easily. I mean, one can easily connect, one can easily learn, one can easily unlearn. So AI has continued to play a very important role since the turn of the 21st century. That experience really made me to see the reason why we must first of all appreciate the need for knowledge. Technological knowledge is very important, extremely important, because we cannot be behind. And that is one thing that one role that leadership should play in Africa and particularly in this part of the continent, whereby we must recognize the need to get very close to what goes on in the world, so that at the end of the day, the gap will be very much closed. So that's part of the reasons why we did that, and we tried to do more within our capacity to expose, to provide platforms, to provide opportunities for young people, for them to blossom within the global stage. There are still some traditional things that we do that are very important. For example, waking up in the morning as a young person, going to school is an exercise. But if you look at what AI is trying to do, you can learn. You can teach yourself. There may not be need for a teacher sitting down before a teacher and listening to someone talk to you and all that. So these are, the threats, if you may, that AI poses, and we must begin to understand these threats. The Ghana experience that the 15 young students had from Agwata, they can, with AI, they may understand some of those things, the places they went to. But there was need for them to see people who has achieved so much for themselves in life. They listen to the persons, get motivated, get inspired, and know that there are no two ways to success except hard work. So some ethical considerations about AI should be ensuring that it doesn't remove that concept of hard work. Yes, one may argue we don't talk about hard work these days, we talk about working smart. But it's also important that young people understand the need for them to work so hard, for them to earn a living for themselves. The other side of it, AI has helped a whole lot of young people to go into cyber crimes easily, and all those vices that are messing up our society these days. So yes, that is working smart to some people. but we are talking about knowing that there are ways of getting involved with knowledge sharing, ways of learning, listening to people, not just about listening to people, even learning from people's experiences and all that. So these are issues that must be looked into by the players in the society to ensure that while we are trying to advocate for the use of AI to better human existence, we shouldn't lose focus on the dangers therein, so as to breed young people who are all rounded in thinking and in their ways of living.